This is the final chapter. I hope my screen is showing. Please confirm if you can see.
Yes, I can see. I can see.
Okay.
I can
Okay,
see
fine.
the screen.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so we'll be looking at the last chapter of the case study text, which is soft skills for accountants. And these are the items, the units we'll be looking at. We'll speak to the purpose, then we'll speak to Unit 1, originality and initiative. Speaking to soft skills for accountants. Unit 2, we'll speak to creative thinking. 3, we look at integrated thinking. 4, persuasion. Unit 5, negotiation skills. Unit 6, cognitive flexibility. Unit 7, multiple capitals. 8, leadership. 9, emotional intelligence. 10, social thinking. 11, business modeling. 12, project management. We'll run through them briefly so that we can close before 10. Then we'll round off the chapter with our quiz and see how we've understood soft skills for accountants. So by the end of the chapter, we should be able to understand originative thinking and initiative, or originality and initiative. We'll be able to also speak to creative thinking, integrated thinking, persuasion, negotiative skills, cognitive ability, cognitive flexibility, multiple capitals, leadership, emotional intelligence, social thinking, business modeling, and we should be able to speak to project management. All right, so by way of Unit 1, originality and initiative speaks to generating unique and unusual, first of their kind ideas or product. And that's what initiative speaks to, being innovative, and you come up with original things that nobody has seen before. A trailblazer, a forward thinker, and this relies on independent thought and constructive imagination. So the raw material for this is thinking and sitting down alone to come up with things that will benefit humanity. And that speaks to originality. Then initiative speaks to making decisions and taking actions independently without being told what to do. So that's generally what initiative means. So cultivating originality and initiative are products of openness to new experiences, breaking inertia, laziness, and all forms of reluctance, gathering diverse experiences and taking risks. That's how to cultivate originality and initiative, so you can come up with new things that will help you and also help others and help humanity. Also, creating an environment for creativity includes quiet time, resonating over life, seeking solitude, going on vacations, going to quiet places to reminisce over things. An environment of quietness will foster originality and initiative, priming the mind, being ready to record, think, put down things that come to your thoughts, pen down things that come to your thoughts. Also avoid dogma, breaking with the past, breaking norms, teaming up to come up with fresh new ideas. And that's what cultivating originality and initiative speak to. So what are the challenges to this? Teaming up, which are merits and demerits, and groupthink. We need to balance dogma by avoiding reinventing the wheel, which means the tension between diverse input and solitude. So these are the challenges to originality and initiative. So that speaks briefly to originality and initiative. And generally, we are looking at being very resourceful, innovative, coming up with solutions to problems in our offices, in our daily lives that impact and make us more efficient and effective. Very important. Number 2 is creative thinking. It's considering something in a new way. Please interject if you have questions. As usual, I'll try to run because of time. So please, where you have issues or you have clarifications, you observe something, feel free to interject. It's fine. So we're looking at considering something in a new way, finding novel approaches to problems or tasks. And that's what creative thinking means. It involves lateral thinking and seeing non-obvious patterns. So as chartered accountants and chartered accountants in training, we need to be innovative, creatively think our way out of situations, circumstances in our offices, in our business, in every area of life we're involved in. We need to be creative. Be creative, think of solutions, how to do your task easily and seamlessly. Think of how to provide reports to management, and think of how your business can move forward. If you are into business as an accountant, it's very important. So it speaks to approaches to problems or tasks, and it reverse lateral thinking and involving non-obvious patterns that will definitely impact your decision and actions to bring about solutions to every issue before you. So what are the attributes? Articulating ideas, working independently, exploring alternatives, risk-taking, flexibility, and thinking outside the box. So this is very important for a creative thinking accountant. You need to be very, 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 very articulate in your ideas. You need to work independently, explore alternatives, draw conclusions from different sources to be able to arrive at something creative to solve a problem. Think outside the box. Don't think around the norm. What is the usual? Think outside the usual. And that's what thinking about the box, outside the box speaks to. And we're looking at between critical and creative thinking. What are the differences? Critical thinking evaluates information, while creative thinking generates it. So you are critically evaluating something that is on ground. So you are evaluating it to come up with solutions by that understanding of that information you have. But creative thinking is originality, a new way of doing something, thinking out a solution. So both are intertwined in problem solving, critical thinking and creative thinking. Learning creativity, we need to be resilient. We need to bounce back no matter what the situation is or have knocked you down, bounce back and never give up. That is what resilience speaks to. Learn from mistakes, suspend judgment, take sensible risks, calculated risks, clarify problems, ask thoughtful questions, notice connections, challenge norms. These are ways to be very, very creative, and we could learn it. Consider different perspectives, and those are ways we could be very, very creative. And creative thinking processes include preparation, incubation. Prepare by isolating yourself, incubate by thinking, taking new ideas, illuminate, resonate over it, think deeply over it, and verify those ideas by writing, articulate them to see how they work. So expressions of creative thinkers are analysis. They perform analysis, they are open-minded, they are problem solving, they are organized, and they communicate effectively. What are the benefits of creative thinking? New income sources, new products, new services, new markets, improved bottom lines and results, both in personal and business lives. These are the benefits and enormous advantages of creative thinking. Okay, that's number 2 soft skill for an accountant. And if we don't have questions, I'll run to number 3, which is integrated thinking. It's an inclusion decision-making process considering connectivity and interdependence of factors affecting an organization's long-term value creation. So integrated thinking is considering interconnection between different factors and sources. And that's what integrated thinking means. So you're not the only one thinking through the situation now. You have integrated sources in a team or a department or a unit looking at different issues, and you integrate your thoughts together to come up with solution to problems, culminating in value creation for that organization. It involves creatively resolving tensions between opposing ideas, and the philosophy came up from the model of Roger Martins. It's a heuristic model, and it speaks to thinking together, opposing ideas, bringing them to work in synergy. And the result is salience, determining relevant information from those ideas. So salience helps us determine relevant information that comes up from integrated thinking. Also causality, establishing linear and non-linear relationship, considering multiple models is also another form of integrated thinking. Architecture also builds a model capturing salient variables and their complexities. Also resolution, creatively managing tension rather than making unsatisfactory either or, choosing between them. So resolving issues, managing tension is another way of integrative thinking. We always have tension or tense situations in the office, in our families, everywhere we find ourselves, in the church, in the mosque, the marketplace, but then creatively managing and sailing through those tensions and resolving them is a way of integratively thinking in integratively as a whole or as a team to resolve situations. The importance is that it avoids oversimplification and it fosters holistic views, and that is what integrative thinking does. It resolves tensions. It's creatively crucial for success in business leadership and in the business space. Very important. And we can implement integrative thinking by understanding value creation, explaining impacts of trends across capitals, identifying significant non-financial metrics, linking non-financial metrics to financial success, and demonstrating linkages between strategy and performance. And we're being holistic in reporting. So in implementing integrative thinking, these are the components to really take note of. Okay, so that will be it for integrative thinking. We're running because we have 9 more units to go. So let's look at the 4th unit, which is persuasion. It's influencing attitudes or behavior without duress through communication. That is what persuasion speaks to. We influence attitudes or behavior without duress, without coercion, through effective communication. And this philosophy came up from the sage of blessed memory, Aristotle. It means as he spoke to establishing truth and justice, a teaching tool that helps us understand both sides of an argument and being self-defensive. Now, Aristotle's rhetorical proofs speaks to ethos, which is credibility, and logos, which is reason, and pathos, which is emotion. So these 3 rhetorical proofs helps look at how credible situations are, or the argument for truth and justice are. How credible is the truth? How reasonable is it? And looking at the emotional aspect of it. So these 3 are very pivotal in Aristotle's arguments. And the morality of persuasion speaks to criticisms, which includes reliance on appearance, potential for controversy, and decisions based on emotion rather than reason. And that's the morality of persuasion. So his argument is that you need to be reasonable and be less emotional in trying to be persuasive. And theories of persuasion speaks to philosophical, which are dispositional and situational attributes of persuasion. Another one on this same situational attribute of persuasion speaks to behavioral change, which are consequences, incentives, prompts, and threats. So behavioral change are prompted by consequences, incentives, prompts, and threats. So the theory of persuasion generally speaks to the philosophy of being able to persuade somebody to do something based on how you want it. And these theories help shape accountants to make decisions in the workplace and the business space. So elaboration also, and the likelihood of inoculation and functional adjustment or social judgment in wherever sphere of life we find ourselves is very important. So our judgment and our social interaction and collaboration with others will help foster how we persuade people in what we do. So persuasion method includes use of force and weapons of influence, speaking to reciprocity, commitment, consistency, social proof, liking, scarcity, and authority. So the use of force and weapons of influence boils down to how you're able to use these forces to your own advantage, and they are all persuasive methods. They don't necessarily mean physical force, but they are some of these methods like commitment, consistency, are powerful ways of persuading someone to act the way you do. Very important. Also, persuasion channels includes appealing to reason, which speaks to logic, rhetoric, scientific proof, and also appealing to emotions, advertisement, presentation, sympathy, propaganda, manipulation, seduction, tradition, and other techniques of persuasion or channels of persuasion, which are subtle: advertisement, power, deception, hypnotizing people. So these are all channels of persuading people, whether good or bad. And the aids to persuasion includes communication, display skills, emotional intelligence, active listening, logical reasoning, interpersonal skills, and negotiation. So as chartered accountants, we need these skills to be able to succeed in the workplace, especially the good ones. And these aids help us to succeed and work seamlessly with different characters, different personalities in the workplace. So that's it for persuasion, and it's a soft skill needed by accountant or accountants in training. So next is negotiation skills. And this speaks to settling disputes to reach agreements through compromise. And the environments are organizations, workplaces where we work, in our community, in our states, in our country. We need negotiation skills to be able to negotiate out of trouble and stay in peace. Peace is very expensive, and we need to be able to negotiate our way and stay peaceful always, whether in the workplace, in our communities, in our neighborhoods. These are very, very important. And the types of negotiation includes distributive negotiation. This one is a win-lose positional situation, and we have the integrative negotiation skills, which this one includes win-win and principled interest based. So okay, so I was speaking to developing cognitive abilities. So I was saying that cognitive ability is your ability to be able to multitask and help you to do different things in a complex work environment. So you need to develop it by alternating routines, seeking new experiences, and practicing or creating ways to challenge or attend to difficult situations. And developing new networks, transferring learning, and moral challenges are ways you do that. So I was giving an example of maybe doing an audit report, and the next thing you are called to come and verify goods and all that, and you come to do spot checks. So that's a way of cognitively being flexible to attend to different tasks at the same time. So cognitive flexibility theory, as generated or postulated by Spiro and Jen, speaks to restructuring knowledge for use in different settings. And this helps us rely on context-dependent knowledge, avoiding oversimplification, knowledge construction, and interconnectedness. This pushes us to do better, to do more. It makes us think more to be able to achieve more, not just stay in our comfort zone, but it pushes us to be able to do more and be flexible. Stereotyping is a challenge with cognitive flexibility, and the good contributing factors is executing functions which are inhibit inside us, memory, planning, organization, and multiple classification like fluid intelligence and ability to cope with situations are contributing factors to cognitive flexibility. So being stereotyped to one type of task will not make us flexible. So we need to be flexible and be able to attend to things differently from what we are used to. The measurement and assessment looks at A, not B tasks, dimensional change card sorting task, DCSS, multiple classification card sorting task, and Wisconsin card sorting task, and also the Stroop test. So these are measurement assessments for cognitive abilities, and these models have come up from different parts of the world to help test how we are being flexible cognitively. And cognitive ability is one way we help enhance our thinking process and how we perform tasks very flexibly. So that's it for cognitive ability. We look at multiple tasks, capitals, which is the next skill for accountants, multiple task. This soft skill is important for future accountants and for current accountants due to the rise of integrated reporting. Integrated reporting has come as one of the emerging areas of accounting in recent years, which considers more than just financial capital. So multiple capitals are areas where you need to consider aside the finances of a business. So mostly when you speak to accountants, when you talk of capital, they are looking at equity or debt. But Multiple capitals and integrative reporting has metamorphosed more than that, looking at different areas and components of capital within an organization. So integrated reporting is a process based on integrative thinking, resulting in a periodic report on value creation over time using various capitals. So value creation is not just money, but also material and human capital or resources. And the integrated report is a concise communication about how an organization's strategy, governance, performance, and prospects leads to value creation and value sustenance. So integrated reporting framework, which is the global IIRC, provides a guiding principle and content elements which focuses on value creation, and the capitals include financial, which is funds, money; manufactured capital, which is the product or services that comes out of our manufacturing endeavors; intellectual, the coming up of ideas are capitals in the business that makes or brings about products or services. We also have the human capital, which is the human resources, staff, and people that work in that organization. Social relationship capital are the way we network with others. Like somebody said, your network determines your net worth. So this capital is very important also. Then the natural capital that comes from resources and what have you, natural resources embedded in the ground for us are natural. So we have 7 of them: financial, manufacturing, intellectual, human, social, and relationship. Then we have the natural capital, 7 of them. And the value creation process helps us with these 7 capitals to be able to harness what we have and also report on them integratively. Very important. So that speaks to multiple capitals and the ideas for accountants to integrate in our day-to-day work. Okay, let's see leadership as a soft skill. Leadership, which is number 8. Leadership is influencing others to achieve a common goal. Simple. When you're able to influence somebody to do something you are trying to achieve, you've displayed leadership. So we have types of leadership, which includes transformational leadership. It's inspiring and motivating followers towards a shared vision, and that's transformational leadership. And the characteristics of transformational leaders include idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual simulation, and individualized consideration. We have transformational leaders like Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew is a leader that is considered to be a transformational leader because of his influence, his ideas, and inspirational motivation. You have transformational leaders like Nelson Mandela of blessed memory, who are also leaders that are intellectually stimulated by they intellectually stimulate their followers and people that are in their country and saw the impact in his country, and they help influence people with their ideas, and it impacts positively on those that follow them. We also have transactional leadership, another type, which focuses on supervision, organization, and performance through rewards and punishment. So transactional relationship is more of result driven. If you do well, you get the result. If you don't, you get punished. And that is what transactional leadership is. So we have different types or styles of leadership. We have the autocratic type, which is which is the stick approach. And we have the democratic type, which is the carrot approach. We also have the laissez-faire leadership, I don't care kind of leadership, which is popular in Africa. We have the strategic leadership, transformational, transactional, coaching, bureaucratic styles of leadership. And the visioning part of leadership is creating a clear and compelling picture of the future. This is very important. So visionary leadership makes every organization, unit, individual, company, country to move in a particular direction. And that is why visionary leadership like that of Dubai, Qatar, is very, very inspiring. So communicating the vision with clarity, enthusiasm, and reinforcement is key. When Barack Obama was going to be president of US, he spoke at the Congress for a particular short period, and he was able to speak clearly and enforcing his ideas. And for the first time, a black person was president in the US. Why? Because he communicated his vision very clearly and seamlessly. So we need to be able to motivate as leaders our followers towards the vision, which is intrinsic and extrinsic, and that comes right from inside us. And the positive and negative incentives and the expert and other ways we power this will help motivate those that listen and follow us. So anchoring the vision is also a characteristic, and it's embedding the organizational culture through management skills and goal setting. The goal setting should be smart, not just balloon dreams and goals, but goals that are smart, they are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And also project management helps anchor a vision. So leadership builds a team using models like Toxman, looking at the forming stage, storming stage, norming stage, and the performing stage of building a team. So the Toxman's model helps us to look at forming, which is startup, storming, growing, norming, maturing stage, and performing, doing extremely well. And also focusing on leadership potential, looking at feedback and coaching people to be better versions of themselves. Also, skills for effective leadership include communication, proactivity, motivation, organizing, and being confident, being able to analyze skillfully, make decisions articulately, and being creative, being able to delegate, flexible, honest, being able to negotiate, being positive, having industry expertise, trustworthiness, time management. These are all skills for effective leadership, and it helps in problem solving, creating value, and get feedback to do better later. So a leader and a manager, what is the difference? The key difference is in direction, subordinates followership, authority source, style focus, efficiency versus effectiveness, and change orientation. Both are needed in an organization, and the difference is leadership and management. That will be the end of leadership soft skill for accountants. So let's look at emotional intelligence, number 9. Goldman spoke to emotional intelligence as managing one's feeling, emotions for appropriate and effective expression, recognizing and managing one's own and others' emotion. So emotional intelligence is very important in these days where we have different personalities in the office, in the workplace, in our communities. We need to be able to manage our emotions so that we don't judge or behave irrationally. Very important. And the importance is that it increases productivity, it reduces stress, moderates conflict, very key, promotes relationship, it fosters stability, and heightens self-awareness. So emotional intelligence is one of the soft skills needed by accountant. You don't just get pissed off, you don't get angry, you don't behave irrationally, you don't behave stupidly in the office. You manage your emotions well to be able to achieve your goal as an individual and as a corporate entity. So the components based on Goldman's model speaks to self-awareness, self-regulation, self-control, trustworthiness, being conscientious, adaptability, and innovation. So these are all components of emotional intelligence, and the motivation and empathy and social skills is embedded in this same component of emotional intelligence. And if you're able to provide or produce this at output, you'll be a very resourceful and highly motivated individual. So there are also models like Ability Model by Salovey and Meyer speaks to perceiving, using and understanding your emotions and being able to manage them, which is measured by this acronym. So we have the MSCIT model, Danver model, Jack-Bart model, and Leas model. So the MSCIT model by Meyer and Solvay and also Caruso speaks to emotional intelligence test. So this model tests your emotions and it's a performance-based emotional intelligence test developed by the original theorists of emotional intelligence, and these are the three individuals. We also have the diagnostic analysis of non-verbal accuracy, which is DANVA, a tool that assesses how well someone can read non-verbal emotional cues. We also have JAGBAT, which is Japanese and Caucasian Brief Affect Recognition Test. The test using photos of facial expressions to evaluate how well individuals recognize emotions across different factors. LEAS is Levels of Emotional Awareness Scale, a written assessment where participants respond to hypothetical emotional scenarios. So all these are models that help you to manage or help individuals, corporate companies manage their staff or people's emotions. Very important. So there's also the mixed model, which helps us with awareness, self-regulation, self-skill, and empathy. And the motivation was measured by these three models or acronyms, which is Emotional Competence Inventory, which is ECI. We also have Emotional and Social Competence Inventory, which is ESCI, and we have Emotional Intelligence Appraisal, which is EIA. So all these mixed model helps us to be more self-aware, self-regulatory, and also self-skillful, and also have empathy and motivate ourselves to be better. We also have the trait models, which speaks to self-perception of emotional abilities, behavioral dispositions, and self-perceived abilities. It's measured by EQI and TIQ. The EQI speaks to emotional quotient inventory and also trait emotional intelligence questionnaires. And these models help us to have self-perception of our ability to do better, act better. The 5 big personality traits include conscientiousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, openness, and extraversion, which are personality traits that help us manage our emotional behaviors. The general effect is better social interaction, and that's what it culminates in. We try to interact better and socially, and academic achievement, work performance, well-being, self-understanding, and the EQ, the emotional quotient edge, are the general effects. So the emotional intelligence is being able to manage yourself properly. If you can manage yourself properly, you'll be able to manage others. The greatest problem with us is we try to manage others and react to others. But if we can manage ourselves, we'll be able to have better social relations, both academic and in a workplace. And our emotional intelligence quotient gives us that edge and helps us become better. So the criticism is predictive power, correlation with personality, social desirable response viewed as behavioral, and the knowledge. My network is.
Yes, are you still in the office?
Yes, I'm still in the office.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to rush so that we can round up. Our time is getting up. So I was speaking to social thinking and the concepts and the importance of it. So I was saying social thinking is thinking, a mental process to understand our thoughts and the thoughts of others and how they feel and their intentions in a particular context, which is important because it facilitates comfortable coexistence with people, it builds connections, and also helps us develop socially based critical thinking in the workplace. So it helps us to do better and act better. And that's why these soft skills are important for accountants to be able to have this edge, not just reporting finances and accounting, preparing books and reviewing it, but also behaving well in the office. And that's why social skills or soft skills for accountants has been integrated into the case study curriculum. So the concept is because social thinking is we need to think with our eyes, expect or unexpected behaviors to be able to act, and the smart guy, wacky guess, and social thinking help precedes these social skills. So all these concepts to be able to relate with people, behave, and respond to ruly and unruly behavior are a way of social thinking also in the workplace, and the business space. So it incorporates social stories, hidden curriculums, and the 5-point scales. Social thinking helps us share ideas with self-regulation, executive functioning, central coherence, and also shifting attention and perceptive taking. So social thinking, these are the components that facilitate social thinking. And social thinking is also evidence-based because it focuses on perspective taking. And the link between social learning and curriculum processing is evidence-based. It emphasizes individual social mind profiles for tailored treatment. So we need to have evidence, not just think that, okay, this person thinks towards me or thinks towards the organization like this. Once the person thinks and he acts, we need to have evidence based on what his thought process have produced. So that will be for social thinking. And in sum, social thinking just talks about how you think and how others think and how you match that to move your organization forward or whatever it is, unit or family you people contain or entail in that association. All right. So second to the last is business modeling. What is business modeling? It speaks to the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. So a business model is a way organization does things, how it tailors its business or services, and how it creates and delivers, and also captures and also sustains value. What's the purpose of business models? It designs current and future states for an organization, it verifies stakeholders' understanding of proposed plans, and analyzes system requirements. So that's the purpose of business modeling. Most businesses have their models, and they use that model to create and sustain value. We also have the gap analysis that analyzes gaps so that it can be bridged. It identifies difference between current and proposed states. The assessment of proposed system looks at evaluating value, cost, resources, human and material, and their availability. So the role of business analysis is to optimize the model, prepare descriptions, and ensure requirement fulfillment. Also preparing data for prototyping and migration, and also reviewing prototypes are all parts of business modeling processes to ensure the right model is captured and employed and used in the business. So business modeling frameworks include business reference model, component business models, industrialization of services business model, and the business model canvas, and the goals, strategy, and measures model. So we have the OGSM, which includes objectives, goals, strategies, and measures model. So these are all forms of strategic planning, executive frameworks that help businesses translate vision into action and results. Very important. So business model innovation speaks to conceptualizing and implementing new business ideas, new diversified acquired ideas that will help translate into actions and outcomes. So the basic forms of business model speaks to brokerage, bundling, crowdsourcing, disintermediation, fractionalization, premium, leasing, low touch. So basic form of business model speaks to these areas of channels of businesses. And also negative operating style cycle, pay as you go, razor blades, reverse razor blades are all models or results of models, product to services, standardization, subscription, and user communities. These are basic form of business models that are used across industries and sectors of businesses. So that will be all for business model, and it speaks to what an organization employs to act and pivot or run that business. Business models are good for accountants to understand and apply in their organization or their endeavors. So finally, we look at project management. Project management is a powerful soft skill for accountants. There are certifications around the world for project management. So ICAN has brought this into the case study curriculum for chartered accountants to understand business project management also. So the characteristics are specific objectives. You have a project team You have a time frame, a schedule to be able to meet up the target. So you have sponsors, customers, and budget. So these are all project management characteristics. And the process is 5-stage. Initiating, the initial process of project management. Then we have the planning stage, then the executing stage, controlling stage, which is the field work, and we have the completion. So these are the 5 stages of project management. And the phases of project development includes project planning, the system analysis and design, the programming, and the database design and implementing. So this essentially speaks to IT or the ICT part of project management, where maybe you have a software deploying, you need to plan that software and the system, analyze its design, program it, and have a database designed for it and implement it for usage, go live. And this speaks to more of IT projects. So the project initiation document, which is the PID, should be in place, which formally establishes the project and provides authority to begin. It includes terms of reference, business objectives, their specific and general objectives, the scope, constraint, and the targets. So this speaks to the project initial document. And also other project initiation document parts include their sponsors, user identification, the resource allocation, project managers, the team specification, the purchasing policy, and other outline, other project initiation documents that needs to be on ground for the project to be a success. So we have the project manager that leads the team, is responsible for initiating and achieving the project objectives. His tasks includes agreeing the scope, creating plans, initiating work, the job functions for everyone, and liaising and motivating them, monitoring them, ensuring quality, reporting progress, and managing slippage, also drawbacks, managing all the issues with the challenges with the project, ensuring testing and delivering result, which is the name of the game, and requires leadership and technical understanding to be able to carry out and evaluate the project and make decisions, move people and manage them, communicate effectively, design the system with knowledge, and plan, control, have financial awareness. So these are all characteristics a project manager should have: procurement and negotiation skills, all attributes the project manager should be able to have. And as chartered accountants, we may find ourselves in such situations and we need to employ these skills. So a project team are individuals that with necessary skills, and they are divided. We have division, the segregation of duties in the project theme. Typically includes similar as system analysts, programmers, data analysts, user representative, and other units and departments often have a flat management structure for the project to be managed properly. We also have project quality plan, which are specific standards for various aspects of the project. We overview the organization, the requirements, and the development, the quality assurance, configuration management, testing methods, documentation, standards, procurement, risk management. These are all project quality plans that brings the project to fruition. Also, project planning phases. Project planning looks at the phases and the task, splitting them into stages, chunk by chunk, and make them easy for execution. The project planning, the analysis, the programming, the data design, the going live, with milestones and targets. Breaks down this heavy tasks into bits, and it lowers the tasks with time estimates and allocation using breakdown structures, the WBS structure like Prince2, and identifying dependencies between these tasks. So project monitoring and control also primarily helps the project manager with oversight to steer the project, and has steering committee sponsors who focus on time, cost, and uses the CPA charts to execute the project. And the management helps brings to bear some of these packages, Microsoft project aids, spreadsheets to use and perform this project. They aid execution, monitoring, and control also. So the management team, which are selected and delegated with duties, are motivated and they communicate and reward and discipline those that don't do the project well. So these are areas accountants may find themselves, and we need to employ these strategies to be able to execute and have results, wherever we find ourselves. So what is the role of an accountant, chartered accountants in training? The numerical and business skills are valuable in understanding economics, forecasts, cost, profits, generating analysis and charts, using spreadsheets, Excel packages, and considering internal and external factors. So accountants, we can be effective project managers and advisors if we understand these skills, understand these phases, and we'll be able to add value to whatever it is we find ourselves. So that's it for project management, which is the 12th unit of soft skills for accountants. So we've been able to briefly speak to originality and initiative, creative thinking, integrative thinking, persuasion, negotiation skills, cognitive flexibility, multiple capitals, leadership, emotional intelligence, social thinking, business modeling, and we've spoken to project management. So these are soft skills that may not come out directly in the exams, but then most of the exams have some of these things as exhibits. So understanding them will help us to be able to provide context, and not just to pass the exams, but to also apply them and add value to our life. Thank you very much, Julie. I can see that as an applause. I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Thank you. So that will not make you run away from our quiz anyway.
I wasn't here now. I wasn't here, but we'll try and answer. I wasn't here, but I'll try and answer. No problem.
Yes, exactly. So you try.
I'm not scared of exam.
So let's look at the quiz very quickly. So number one.
No, but you have tried though. Wow.
Yeah. I'm happy we have cleared the lectures. We are done with the lectures. Yes, this is the last. No more lectures till exam. So we now face past questions and how to pass case study. I'm very happy for that.
When are we going to do past questions?
And so from next week, Monday,
we should look at past questions for case study. Is it not for practice?
So we'll do practice now, but we need to look at the mock exam so that we can solve that question that we gave you as mock. So it's essentially practice. We'll solve it, share the report, then you can compare with your own. So it's almost the same thing as practicing. And you do it over the weekend. You find time and do it.
Yeah, I will.
All right, so do this test first. Number one, which of the following best describes the relationship between critical thinking and creative thinking? You have to use idea to answer this one. A, critical thinking only applies to mathematics, while creative thinking applies to acts. B, creative thinking is superior to critical thinking in problem solving. C, critical thinking evaluates information, while creative thinking generates new ideas.
C.
How come you are so sure?
I know.
Final answer.
Final answer.
C, okay. You didn't even check the next option, whether it's D. They are opposites and contradictions. Okay. All right, we'll see. Number 2, according to Roger Martin's heuristic model for integrated thinking, which stage involves determining what information is most relevant? A, resolution. B, causality. C, architecture. D, salience. I have to guess this one because you're not in
Which one is integrated thinking itself?
Integrated thinking is thinking not in silos, but within an organization, thinking together. So I'm giving you this answer because you are not in the class. So like in your unit, you are thinking through a problem. Finance unit, internal auditing. So that's integrated thinking. So it's saying which stage involves determining what information is most relevant. Resolution, causality, architecture, then salience.
A.
Resolution, okay. Just have to guess.
No, it's 3, what? It's wisdom. It's not guessing, it's wisdom.
All right, we'll see if you get it. Number 3, what is the primary difference between distributive and integrative negotiation types? Distributive focuses on win-win outcomes, while integrative is zero-sum. B, integrative is used in legal dispute, while distributive is for internal staff conflicts. C, distributive is win-lose positional, while integrative is win-win interest-based. D, integrative avoids compromise, while distributive encourages collaboration. D or C?
D.
Okay, D for dog. Right. Okay, D for dog. All right. Which of the following is not a Goldman's 5 components of emotional intelligence? Self-awareness, technical ability, motivation, empathy. I think you came during emotional intelligence, so you should get this one. Okay. It's not.
No, I was not even there. I don't even know, but just
you are not in emotional. Okay, I thought you joined during the emotional intelligence class. Okay. All right, and finally, in persuasion, which of Aristotle's rhetorical proofs appeals to emotion? A, logos, B, pathos, E, ethos, D, mythos.
Oh,
you're not even in the class.
This one is going to be guesswork.
You have to guess this one. In persuasion, which of Aristotle's rhetorical proofs appeals to emotion? Logos, pathos, ethos, and mythos.
Mythos.
Okay, this one is guesswork. D. All right, let's go to judgment day. Number 1, what is the primary difference between creative thinking and critical thinking? A, creative thinking generates information while... well, why you got it now? Come in.
Of course not.
How come you chose C? Creative thinking evaluates information. But why am I having an option? I'm looking at option.
A, I don't know.
It's supposed to be C. Anyway, you got it, sharp, because that's the answer. Creative thinking generates information, while a critical thinking evaluates it. Yeah. So creative thinking is about generating new ideas and approaches, whereas critical thinking is about evaluating and analyzing them. So I think I mixed the options up instead of A.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, mix up, but you got the answer. All right. Number 2, you also got it. Which of the following is a characteristic of persuasive communication? The answer is A, establish trust and credibility with audience. Establishing credibility, ethos, is a core principle of persuasive communication. Persuasion relies on a balance of logic, emotion, and credibility. You just use ideas and you were getting it. Number 3, B.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the importance of cognitive flexibility in the workplace? Okay, this one you gave me giveaway, so this one is B. It enhances learning, problem solving, and adaptation in the changed environment. We took D.
What did I say?
So he said cognitive flexibility involves handling multiple concepts or tasks, but not limiting the ability to. So D is not the answer, B is the answer.
So B is learning. Can you go back? Let me see the answer, please.
Yes.
Learning. That's cognitive.
Yes, cognitive flexibility. It's the ability to switch between tasks or concepts and think about multiple things simultaneously, which aids in adapting to new challenges. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, number 4, you got it. B. What does the concept of integrated thinking in business decision making primarily emphasize? Recognizing the connectivity and interdependencies of various factors affecting long-term value creation. Exactly, B. And finally, this one you did give away, B. Job following is a method used to enhance persuasive communication using strong logic arguments, which is logos to support your case. But you picked mythos. Was it mythos you picked? The ethos. Ethos. That one was within the lecture, sure. But you tried above 50, scored 60%. So it's commendable. It shows that you can use ideas to. Yes, you are even there. So you can use ideas to navigate your way out. Please use those ideas very well and pass case study. Very important.
Hello.
Yes.